Hello everyone, Walter of Rotate and Aviate. Today my wife and I are going to go check out Eagle Creek Airpark and Rick's Boathouse. So hop in the back and join us and check out this new place we're going to. We're leaving Seneca County and heading to Kilo Echo Yankee Echo. So we're going to be up in the air for about an hour and a half and probably pick up some flight following if necessary and go from there. So hop in and join us. Nobody else up right now, so. Seneca County traffic, Archer 433 Mike Alpha, departing runway 6, Seneca County. And then we'll be have a southwest heading departure out of the pattern, Seneca County. All right. Make sure nobody else is coming down. Make sure Joe Bell's not up there coming in on landing. Don't see anybody else up there. Nobody called in either. Gonna do a maximum performance takeoff, 2 notches of flaps. Alright, engine and gauges in the green, airspeed's coming alive, there's 50 knots, 55, and we're going to come off the ground. Nose back over for some airspeed, building the airspeed, build it up, build it up, build it up, and we're going to pop up.
Everybody's in their pools today.
Yep.
Middletown traffic, fast track to about 2 minutes prior to second pass. East crossing the city of Middletown. Sky average 14,000 feet below Middletown.
Seneca County traffic, Archer 433 Mike Alpha is going to be departing to the southwest. Final call, Seneca County.
So,
0.65.
tons of the comments asked you, what's it take to be a pilot? How much does it cost to become a pilot? Why'd you do it?
Southbound, Alpha Gate 8,500.
Start with that one.
Well, what's it take is just a little bit of motivation initially. So I started out wondering what it would be like as a young kid, and always looking up in the sky and seeing airplanes flying around, and just thought how cool it would be. But it always just, to me, seemed intimidating. But I'll tell everybody right now, the only thing you got to do is just go out to your local airport that has training
and expected visual approach, maintain 10,000 for now.
and do a discovery flight.
10,000 and I'm expecting visual approach.
So
Figuring on 3-3 and I have the weather at Richmond.
you do the discovery flight and then just take it hour by hour, and it becomes more achievable each time you go up. The cost varies. You have the plane rate, which is typically wet, meaning it includes fuel as you use it. You don't have to put fuel in it when you're done. It's all included in the hourly rate. And then you have your instructor rates as well. So the plane I trained in was $135 per hour that the engine was running, and the instructor was $70 an hour. So $205 for every hour that you're instructed in the plane. When you're flying solo, doing solo training, you're just paying for the plane. within the minimum for FAA is 40 hours of training hours and altogether. And I think I got all mine done. Plane and instructor stuff was just under $8,000 or $9,000. But then I also had a medical examination, which is typically $100 out of pocket. And then you have your ground school. You can do ground school with an app, or you can have your instructor do it. It's about 25 hours worth of instruction on the ground, and that's $70 an hour typically to have them sit with you and go over everything as an instructor in the office or something like that. But I did mine on an app. The app for me cost about $300 for 1 year of subscription to be able to access it. I can still use it to this day. So even though I'm a pilot now, I can still go back to it and reference different information and knowledge to refreshen my skills and regulations and all that kind of stuff. So all in all, I think all in I've got between $10,000 and $11,000, and I did it in 6 months. And you can, some people do 2 years, take 2 years to do it. Some people can do it in 3 to 4 months, but doing it over 2 years of time, that usually has more hours overall, because every time you go up in the airplane, you're spending a lot of time reviewing rather than learning new things. So you might have 90 hours in over 2 years when I had it done in about 50.
What did you do for research before you started the whole project? Because I remember watching a heck of a lot of YouTube with you.
Yeah, so
voluntarily or involuntarily.
So what happened, what initially kicked it off was one of the owners of the airport came out to the dealership I work at and was inquiring about vehicles. I knew who he was, and I asked him, what's it take to be a pilot? And as soon as he said, just come on out, do a discovery flight, and we'll take it hour by hour, then I started doing some more research, because at that point it became obtainable and achievable to me, so it was worth my time to do some research. I did a lot of YouTube, checking things out, a lot of Googling, a lot of just talking with people at the airport and people that I know already have their pilot's licenses, and just friends and family. My brother-in-law is a pilot for United Airlines. I have a friend who got his own private pilot's license 2 years ago, has his own plane, talking to him. And then just talking to everybody at the airport who has their license, or at least works there, got good insight with things like that. But YouTube's a pretty good resource. I mean, there's a lot of pilots out there that do what I'm doing right now, just sharing their travels and stuff. And then depends on what one you want to follow. Some of them are really informative. Some of them are more for adventure and just all the cool things that they can do with it. But I would look at applications on your tablets or your phones for ground schools and seeing reviews on those. I would recommend the Finer Points. That's what I used. There's a really good YouTube channel on him. His name's Jason. He flies out of California. I watched almost every one of his videos because he is a certified flight instructor who puts cameras in the cockpit as if you're sitting there with him, and he's going over every single procedure, every skill, every bit of knowledge you could ever learn to know. And don't take everything he says as the gospel. You want to blend what your instructor is going to teach you with his, and you don't want to contradict yourself against somebody who's actually in the plane with you teaching you, but just take as much of the good with everything you can see and hear from, and just kind of combine it. That's what I did with the app. So that guy on YouTube I just mentioned, he has his own app. It's called The Finer Points. So just a little shout out to Jason out in California. So does good things on YouTube.
Oh. You mentioned at the beginning of that you found out about a discovery flight through selling cars and your dealership. Just throw it out there that you are not a full-time pilot.
Oh, that's right, yeah. So some people who watched the video with me and Zach, there's a lot of discrepancy, and people don't believe that it was real, because how could you have a best friend and not know what your job is? Well, flying is not my job.
Yeah.
I work at a car dealership in my hometown, and when I got my license, or initially I was trying to get my license, I thought, you know what, instead of announcing to all my close friends what I'm doing, I'm going to try my best to keep this a secret and do a reveal. And that's what that whole video was about, was just revealing it. The discovery flight, again, that was all stemmed from a transaction at the dealership, and just striking some conversations. That is really simple. You get in the plane, You're going to pay for the plane, obviously, but in that 1 hour that you're up, you're on the controls with the instructor. He's going over takeoff procedures. First, you do actually a walk around to the plane. You get introduced to the plane, what you're looking for, why you're inspecting it. Then you get in the plane, start it up, do some run-up procedures. He'll get you on the runway. We'll take off, get in the air, show you some maneuvers, come back into the pattern and land. Maybe he'll do another a couple touch and goes with you. And it just really gets your feet wet in aviation and just what you're getting into. And by that point, you're either going to be so hooked to the point where you can't stand to be away from the airport like I was, or you'll find out right away, maybe this isn't for me, this isn't what I thought it was, I'm not comfortable. Or you might be in the middle where, you know what, I might need to take one more discovery flight, one more chance up in the plane because maybe you were sick that day or just weren't feeling good. Whatever it was, I would try to recommend go up at least twice before you commit to it, but it's usually all it takes is the one time going up.
Yeah, you caught the bug.
I caught the bug quick. Yep.
So you talked about some of the people you watch on YouTube, some of it's discovery, some of it's informational.
Yeah,
Where do you plan on going with this?
I want to do like average Joe type stuff. So I'm not a millionaire. I don't own a business. I don't have a private jet. Even though I really love those videos of the guys who do. There's a Citation Max and Premier One driver, Greg, who we might find him today. His home base airport's just about 20 miles north of where we're going, so maybe he's there having lunch or dinner with his wife, I don't know. But Premier One driver, Citation Max, there's a few others. If I don't mention them now, I apologize, but there's a lot of content to watch. Other fun ones for discovery and information as well. Mike Patey, awesome inspiration for what I'm doing with myself here. He's just a blessing in aviation, just how much knowledge the guy has and ingenuity, and what he does with aviation in general is just incredible. And then there's Trent Palmer flying around in the bush planes. That's some really cool stuff to go check out. I'm sure if you're watching this channel right now and watching this video, you probably have stumbled upon all of these people before me, so I'm at the tail end. But my purpose and point of this channel is for Zach and I to do some fun stuff, because I think a lot of people are interested in that. The second thing would be, I'm just a guy who, middle class, doesn't make that much money compared to these other guys, and I want to show people you can get your license. It can be affordable if you take it at your own pace, and you can be that person who rents an apartment or has a, cheap mortgage or something, and you can still get in a plane and fly it. You don't have to be a millionaire. You don't have to be wealthy. You can take it hour by hour, get your license, and then do what you and I are doing right now. We're going to Indianapolis to check out a cool joint and see the atmosphere and come back with a story to tell. So
I should have it. Yes, I do. 712 has your
average Joe flying is where
Joe and Jane.
Yep. Take friends and family up. That's a big motivation. I have a sister and husband, like I said, that lives out in Illinois and Wisconsin, and 2 hours to fly there one way, or we can leave early in the morning and take 8 or 9 hours to drive. So weigh those differences and see if it's worth it to you. Yeah, you might spend, when it's all said and done by the day or the weekend, you might have spent $100 to $200 more flying the plane than you would have driving.
Right, it's worth it.
It's worth it. $200 to get there and back in a day. Not have to be behind the wheel of a car for 9 hours, 16 hours, whatever. That's where some of the benefits come into having this.
Give me your top 5 places you want to go.
I think Putin Bay was one of them. That was pretty cool. That's like a frequent weekend trip. It takes 20 minutes to get there versus like an hour to 2 hours if you were to drive or get on the jet or get on the Miller ferry, whatever. Just to get from the time we leave our front door to the time we're on the island, it's going to be about an hour and a half, 2 hours. But getting to the airport, getting in the plane and going up, 30 minutes. So that's one place. That's another good place I want to go to. Chicago, do the trips. Pretty much anywhere where there's a professional baseball stadium, we'll do those.
Slightly influenced by your wife.
Yep, slightly influenced by my wife. And then, honestly, some places up in New York wouldn't be bad to go to Lake George again.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Adirondacks.
Yep. And a plane like this is not too practical to fly it, especially when you're renting. If we own this aircraft, it'd be more feasible to fly it 8 hours out west somewhere. But when you're renting it, 8 hours is a lot of money. Because when you own it, you obviously have the expense of owning the plane. you had to spend $60,000 to $100,000 depending on what the plane is. So yeah, that's a big upfront expense. But once you own the plane, it's your plane. You have maintenance costs, fuel, and hangar fees. That's minimal compared to renting it. So if I were to rent this plane and go one way 8 hours, it'd be really expensive. So to kind of caveat off what you said, I'd rather fly commercial to like Salt Lake City, Utah. Find an FBO, fixed base operator down there that rents aircraft that I'm rated in, and then rent one from there, and then go fly around and check places out. That'd be the one way I'd want to exercise my privileges as a private pilot.
So you have previous military experience, in case people don't know.
Yeah.
Did that have any effect on why you wanted to get your pilot's license?
It had a lot of effect on my ability to, so it actually had a lot to do with Zach trusting me. So if you're just tuning into this part of the video and you're wondering, if you saw the video where I took Zach up and I revealed to him I was a private pilot after I took him up in the air, part of his confidence in me was just him knowing who I was prior to getting in the airplane.
No, I've only been up in this thing once. But you know me, I've always been mechanically inclined and stuff like that. So
checklist initiated.
They sat and showed me like a little discovery thing.
I've been in the military 9 years. I have a Class A CDL, and our whole time growing up together, he's just witnessed me operate vehicles, equipment, trucks, boats, all kinds of stuff. He just knows that I have that mechanical inclination inside myself to be able to just do things. So when I was taking him slowly through the run up and the starting of the engine, and basically the other key factor was the owner telling him, hey, Wally knows how to start the plane. I'm going to come out once it's running and get into the plane. A lot of that military background, helped me get to that point where I can understand all this stuff rather quickly. That's how Zach saw it as well.
What's the hardest part about getting your pilot's license?
The hardest part for me, and this might go like vice versa with some people, I struggled a lot with the book stuff, okay? My brain, the way I learn things, I absorb information on a level where I have to understand it in my own way. When I'm being told what to learn in a certain way and I just can't fathom it, I just can't comprehend it, I struggle a lot with it. I know how to get in a plane, I know how to fly it, but if you're going to give me a book and it's worded so complex to the point where I just kind of struggle with it, that was the hardest part for me. But that was my biggest struggle. Now the opposite, somebody who's really book smart, can really absorb information out of writing and reading, might not be able to comprehend the mechanical part. Getting your hands on the yoke, on the controls, let your feet on the rudder pedals, and just knowing what to do with that aircraft and all the different scenarios that could apply to it, it might be backwards for that individual too. So my downfall was the learning. The part where I excelled was the application in the aircraft itself.
Oh, we're going to Rick's boat house. What is it?
You found it.
Yeah, I found it.
Rick's Boathouse. So one of the things that we're doing as a couple and as a family even is finding some cool places to go to within walking distance of an airport. There's an app or a website you go to called flytolunch.com, and you pick whatever airport you're flying out of and what radius you want, and it'll give you a list of all these airports that have diners or restaurants. You can also pick if you want to find an airport with a restaurant on the field within walking distance or within a minimal driving distance, like you need to get an Uber or a taxi to get to.
Well, if any of those places are near water, that's checking all the boxes for me.
Yeah. So this Rick's Boathouse we're going to has a marina, mostly like pontoons and small boats. I think it's a reservoir.
Yeah.
39er Zulu, when able, clear direct Cuyahoga Falls.
You got aviation on the east side of the street, and then you got boats and a really cool restaurant on the west side. And our landing fee is waived. We don't have to pay a landing ramp fee to park there. All you do is just tell them that we're going to Rick's, and we should be all set. Eagle Creek traffic, Archer 3 Mike Alpha is downwind, runway 3, Eagle Creek. Left base, runway 3, Eagle Creek.
Shelby, traffic number 664, Lima, left base, runway 1, Shelbyville.
Counter traffic, Summer Alpha, left base.
Eagle Creek traffic, Archer 3 Mike Alpha is final, runway 3, Eagle Creek.
Crawfordsville traffic, M351 Lima left, base for runway 4, Crawfordsville. Charlieville traffic down 664 Lima, final runway 1, Charlieville. Crawfordsville 351 Lima, final.
Well, we made it.
Right, okay, gotcha.
Every day.
Bye, thank you.
We'll see you.